So let's look at how to manage your two LinkedIn inboxes. Well, the world of LinkedIn inboxes is one of toggling back and forth between your LinkedIn.com inbox, your new 2017 version, and your Sales Navigator inbox, which is in an entirely different window. You just go back and forth, but they're separate windows. You don't go forward and back in a browser so much. So there's a nice direct link from the LinkedIn.com inbox to go over and see your messages over there, and vice versa. Be nice to have a single inbox. Maybe we'll have that someday. But for now, get used to how you'll toggle back and forth and see if the message was over here or over there sometimes. Well, LinkedIn messages come in a thread. So as you respond back and forth, as people even add more items to the conversation, for the most part, it's going to stay in a single thread. And you can see this back and forth banter, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there might be a thread on LinkedIn.com. There might be a thread on Sales Navigator. There could be multiple threads. It's possible to do that if you're not responding to a message. If you're going natively to someone's profile, again, it will start a new message thread, and now you'll be managing more threads maybe than you had counted on. Each message thread has a unique URL to it. So the www up at the top is unique to each message thread. And you'll be keeping track of these in some way by storing them for direct access at another point. You'll put them into a Google Doc or Sheet or any place that you can put a URL and just go click on it, get right back to where you came from. But there are some strategies with your LinkedIn.com inbox. And remember this, you'll always have a LinkedIn.com inbox. You may or may not have a Sales Navigator inbox forever. If you're going to pay for LinkedIn for the rest of your life, then hallelujah, you'll always have a Sales Navigator inbox. But you can't even say that it will exist even in the future. You'll always know you have the .com side. So think about that at first. For the most part, the conversation stays within the inbox in which you're having it. It doesn't jump out and create a new thread like you can in Gmail or some other area. So the messages are in threads, and the threads are back and forth and back and forth. Nice conversation, so you don't want to repeat things because they're in a thread. Every time you create a new connection, especially with a custom invitation, it starts up a thread in your inbox. This makes it difficult to see a lot of other things in your inbox, and it's one of the reasons you might have URLs that you store to get back to certain messages. But new connections start a conversation, and hopefully they'll respond. The LinkedIn inbox has some filters, and they're not all that they're cracked up to be. First of all, you start by seeing all of the messages. Okay, so everything in one big, huge pile. Hundreds, maybe thousands of messages for some folks, all in one great big long list. The archive function really isn't involved anymore. They show it here, but it really doesn't work. If you archive some messages a long time ago, you can go see them. Back in 2009, 2010, if you want to live some history, there you go. My Connections just shows you messages that exclude essentially conversations from folks that are 2s and 3s. That would essentially exclude some InMail, some other things. Unread is pretty good, but it's hard to manage because you'll look at a message and you'll want to unread it and set it as unread and come back and all. And it just is a little difficult to do. If you're good at those sorts of things, knock it out, but most folks are not. The InMail function is actually a nice one. If you want to see the sort of commercial sort of messages that are coming in your inbox, you can filter on those. And, there might be some case somewhere where there was some reason to block somebody, but that's not very important as well. These filters, they look a lot better than they are, but you'll use them occasionally, and we'll talk about them as we go along. Well, searching on a LinkedIn.com inbox is actually pretty simple, and nowadays you can search on a keyword or a name. So if it was something related to the Chattanooga deal, you could put in a search on Chattanooga, for example. Or well, the LinkedIn.com inbox actually has a nice message search, and you can search on a keyword or a name. Let's take an example. In this case here, we're searching on AAISP. It's a inside sales organization. As we search in here, you'll see that the messages for folks that have that string of characters in them will appear.